Are we back?
We're back.
All right.
We're back.
We're back here. I was just, you all missed it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say you guys. You all.
You all. You people.
You people missed it. I accused of my partner over here of being on performance-enhancing drugs, a.k.a. steroids.
Yes.
He might be blood doping because the performance has been high.
It's been very high.
Mm-hmm.
The performance has been very high, and I almost gave away the secret last night, but I decided against it.
No. Keep the secret.
I have a system. Down that is. Well, I think a couple things.
Yeah.
Number one is a lesson, which is I'm doing the things that I'm good at. Okay. Which is like a meta lesson of this podcast.
That's the first step.
So like do more of the things you're good at. And then number two is I'm being super intentional about my time. And I got a system down. Eventually it's gonna break, but we're in a good zone right now. So let's DC's riding the wave.
What did we talk about here? The nephew is now preparing notes. If you're on the YouTube,
so
we need more subs for the young G2. Look how young he looks.
I don't actually ever I don't really care if you look at the notes or not.
Okay.
I only give you the notes because like sometimes there's like things that like I want you to look through to like read.
I like it.
Or you see a tweet. Mm-hmm. So this episode of Seeking Wisdom, which by the way, if you have been following along or seen, DC and I have each kind of branched out now. We have some other stuff that we're going to give you.
Don't worry, the band is still together.
The band is still together. Seeking Wisdom. They got real nervous. They got real nervous. I think we have a good thing going. We should keep doing it.
Okay.
But what we each kind of have unique little things that we're branching out to. So like
solo acts.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. You're gonna bring the CEO to CEO content, and I'm gonna bring you the marketer to marketer content, and then we're gonna come together here on Seeking Wisdom, the core Seeking Wisdom.
That's it.
Okay. So today we're gonna talk about an email that you sent and an article that's been going around from the homie Brad Stulberg, who's been on the podcast. We met him in Oakland. He is one of a coach of yours, and the topic of this podcast is the 5 people around you today. Okay, and so Brad tweeted out this article which has gotten a ton of traction, and I don't know if this is what inspired you to send your email or not. Actually, it might have been after. He said
this came out after.
This came out after. So wait, so this is literally just timing?
Timing.
Wow.
The universe.
This is crazy. So this is the universe telling us we should do this podcast. So I saw this tweet, and then I saw your email, and Brad said, sit within 25 feet of a high performer, performance improves by 15%. Sit within 25 feet of a low performer, performance declines by 30%. We are mirrors. The people we surround ourselves with shape us and shape them too. DC, what without even having read the article, what is that about?
I have goosebumps right now listening to you say that. That's facts. This is something that we've talked about so long. Send an email around this. Subscribe. drift.com/DC. And
we'll talk about that. Okay.
And something that I've talked to the nephew so much about, because this is a lesson I learned from the old uncle, Charlie Munger, that, and we've heard this old adage for years. You will become the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time around. We've heard that adage. We've also heard, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. So
what I love, and you I think you tweeted out something about this, or you wrote it. What I love is that most people listening to this podcast are going to be like, that's obvious.
No,
that's obvious.
G2, I'm going to have to do a friend audit on you. Make sure you
do an
have
audit.
the right friends.
Right? That's what they say. They say, oh, that's obvious. The people you surround yourself with, right? But I saw you recently in the email you sent to the company, you did an audit for yourself. What did you do?
I'm constantly, so not only, I took this to another level.
Okay.
So I've constantly been, and I did this, now I look back, I try to share the lessons with the people that have taken years of pain and suffering.
Yeah.
And I look back and I think I was doing this without even knowing I was doing it. And I was changing the people that were around me that became my role models, and every few years I was changing and growing, and changing that group of people that I spent the most time with. And I kind of did this subconsciously, and now I can look back and say, like, okay, this is what I did, and was super important for myself. I think it'll be helpful for other people. But then I took it to another level, and I emailed the team about it, which was like, it's not just the people that you spend your time around in the physical world.
Yeah.
But we spend so much of our time in the digital worlds now, on the IGs, on the Twitters, on the TikToks. I'm up on the TikToks and all that.
Okay.
On all these kind of systems. Those shape our reality as much, if not more, than the people, because in some cases, for a lot of people listening, you're spending more hours a day with those virtual friends or people that you follow than people you are day to day in the real world. And so you need to, and this is what I did, go in through your list, do it right now, pull over if you're driving, look at the people that you're following in your IGs, your TikToks, your Snaps, your whatever you're using, and start auditing that list.
Yes.
Because those people, if you have any negative energy in there, any people that are taking you in a direction you don't want, those are the people. And it's fun, you listen to the whatever that guy is, the fat whatever guy on IG.
Oh yeah, fuck Jerry, fat Jewish, all those
all
accounts.
these things. It's funny and stuff like that. That is shaping your reality and is bringing you down to that level. So if you want to be one of those guys, then that's what you're going to become. If you want to be something more than one of those joke accounts, then you got to change the people that you're following.
This is such a good lesson, because I actually think the thing that we have it to our advantage in 2019 is I think 10 years ago, if we did this, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if we talked about this, you would have had to physically go out. There's really only two ways: meet with somebody or read a book.
Yep.
Today, you can surround yourself with the people that you want to be like and learn from, like on the channels right from your phone, right?
Yeah.
Instagram, YouTube, all the apps you just mentioned. So I love this idea of like actually being intentional with who you follow. And what happens is then it's like, okay, I pull out my phone when I'm like killing time. I'm like in the elevator, God forbid you can't wait 2 minutes. So I pull up Instagram, but now my Instagram is like it's athletes, it's authors, it's professors, it's and so I'm spending that kind of downtime just soaking that stuff in,
and that's what you become.
Totally, that's what you become.
If you check out what the young nephew these days, new young nephew, he wasn't doing this before. What is he watching on YouTube? He's watching old footage, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, the greats, right? And that's becoming part of his psyche right there. I hope G2, who's on the IG right now, is looking at some greats.
He's on the gram. He's on the gram.
Is that what it's called, the gram?
The gram.
Okay.
I don't know about TikTok. Is that?
Oh, you don't know about TikTok?
Is that the next thing?
Jeez.
I'm gonna get on TikTok. Man. Okay.
Yeah.
How what?
I had a TikTok account a while ago, but I wasn't really using it.
What is
you know
TikTok?
who put me on TikTok?
Who? Your daughter?
No.
Who?
Arnold.
He did?
Yeah. I thought Arnold said, "Follow me. I'm A Schnizzle on TikTok."
Damn. I thought you were gonna say it's like the next up and coming like app.
It is
TikTok.
It is.
Arnold is on TikTok. How old is he?
I don't know how old he is. He's looking good though.
He's looking good. I saw him.
Huh? G2. He looks good, right?
Yeah.
Gun. Yeah.
He was just doing like preacher curls the other day, and his arms are just ridiculous. Ridiculous. But that's so true. You get to surround yourself by those people all the time. What do you think?
And I like to surround myself with this guy right here, Brad Stulberg. Sorry to interrupt you, but
go Brad.
Brad Stulberg, and we should have a live version of this show because today it is March 19th. Yeah. Brad Stulberg's book has just come out.
Wow.
I tweeted it today. It's called The Passion Paradox. Go get yourself a copy.
You already read it?
I read it already. I got it. I got an advanced copy though, bro. My man Brad and my coach, he was on the latest episode of Rich Roll. Our homie Rich Roll. So
he was back on with Rich?
He's back on to talk about The Passion Paradox.
Wow.
Go check out his book.
That's awesome. I got to go check that out. So anyway, he wrote this article last week in Outside Magazine called Good Vibes Are Contagious. And he said this whole thing is actually grounded in science, right? He said, one of my favorite threads of research shows how interconnected we humans are. Studies show that if you bear witness to someone else experiencing pain, whether it's somebody stubbing their toe, somebody, a homeless person, right? You're going to experience some degree of pain yourself. Then he found that pain is not the only contagious emotion. They found at Yale, which is a pretty good school, they did a study of 5,000 people right here in Massachusetts for more than 3 decades. They found that when someone became happy or sad, that emotion rippled through the entire town. So there's so many connected things, right? Like, having a winning culture is going to create more winning around a team. Hiring better people, A players, high performers is going to breed this culture of more high performers. Like they're all connected. And
this shows why it's so important to how you shape your reality right here, right? In that Yale study that he was talking about, like that you had this empathy, right? Even though you didn't go through it. And this can go negative, right? Because there are people who might want to help out a cause, and they think by, you know, changing the color of their Twitter icon or something like that, or putting a little hashtag, that they actually did something, where they didn't actually do something, they didn't actually help. But psychologically, the same thing happens, and they feel like, oh, I did something to help. No, you got to do more than that.
You just said something that actually is the most important piece of this. You said shape your reality. And that's what I just learned. That connected a couple dots in my mind about you, which is, I think sometimes as a CEO and a founder, you have big ass goals, you have big aspirations, and I think there's sometimes where people can't always relate to that. But what I've realized is the people that you surround yourself with, the accounts that you follow, the people you're in meetings with, you've had dinner with the founder of Dropbox, and you've been at something with, you know, the CEO of and founder of ServiceNow, like $1 billion companies. So you've seen things that's my reality. I haven't seen possible. So when you say suspend disbelief, you've seen it, so you believe it's possible. That then changes your perception. So
it was just a woman or a man. They were just a human.
Sure.
They did it.
And you had dinner with them, and they feel like just everybody. They feel the same as everybody else. The other thing that you kind of, you know, drilled into my head in the early days of Drift, and I still take with me today, is this idea of like you gotta play to who you want to be around. And so this is such a funny like lesson to think about. But like one thing you've cared a lot about is you used to, I would be like, oh, I'm out tomorrow, I'm going to, I remember one specific occasion, I'm like, I'm out tomorrow, I'm going to this event. And you're like, why are you going to that event? That's an event of crumbs. That's an event for crumbs. You're gonna spend 8 hours there. Don't go to that event. And so I didn't go
because he showed me the event. I said, let's see this event. I said, let's see who's going to be at this event.
But
these are not people that you want to emulate.
But on the flip side of that, you do things like about a month ago, you forwarded me an invite to this event through Sequoia, and you said, go to this one.
Yes.
Okay. And that is the top companies in the world are going to be there, so I'm going to go there, and that becomes then the frame of which I'm going to be able to be.
I'm going to get. I got to work on G2, getting some video mentors. Make sure he's associating himself with the right people.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Right? I like that.
Maybe we'll get my boy Spielberg or someone at that level.
Your boy Spielberg. All right.
Steven Soderbergh.
I see you thumbing around in the notes. What do you got to say? You good?
I love this topic. Check out this newsletter that I've created.
Oh yeah.
It's free. All the stuff we do is free. And it's free for the people.
Free.
And in one of them, I have a bunch of slides that I had forgotten that I had created around this thing. Well, that someone created, but that I had written. And it goes through about this stuff about being careful who you take advice from, right?
Yeah.
This is it. We did an episode early on in Seeking Wisdom History. Episode 4.
This is episode 150.
Yep. Go back to episode 4. And it's about be careful who you take advice from, which goes into this model here, right? Because one of the things that I talked about in that episode was that we are, as humans, right, we don't want to offend people, right? And so we are too democratic with our willingness to listen to everyone. So we will treat the advice we got from someone who has no qualifications, but maybe your buddy or might be a family member, and may have the worst qualifications and might have negative traits. We will take and weight their feedback as much as someone who has repeatedly been successful and that you want to emulate.
Especially today, because anybody can say anything to you on the internet.
Yes, which is the downside of all of this social stuff on the internet. And so you have to be really diligent and ruthless, is how I frame it, on making sure that you filter down to just the people that you take advice from. And this is where it dovetails with what we're talking about today, which is the 5 people around you, right? Because you only have so much glycogen in the brain each day here.
What?
And so you do not have the mental capacity, the energy, the willpower to be able to filter out all of the bad stuff and just be able to be smart enough to filter the good stuff. So the best way to deal with that is to filter at the highest level, which is filter the set of people so that you're getting more good stuff than bad stuff.
I just think about, like, I'm in marketing. I think a lot about whose advice everybody wants. This person's doing it this way. I know a very, very, very limited group of people that we as a company should take inspiration from other companies.
Very limited, very limited. But you'll see as people point out, oh, check out this company, check out that company. It's like, why are we listening to these companies.
Yeah.
These are not companies that we emulate towards.
So surround
Doesn't mean that
yourself.
their advice is wrong. Their advice could be totally right.
Yeah.
But you have to play the odds.
Yeah.
Right? You have to play the odds because you're not going to be able to figure it out in real time. Play the odds and only take the advice from people who have done what it is that you want to do, and their advice might be wrong, but the odds are better there.
So look, let this podcast be a reminder. The reason we do this show is because we want it to be tactical, real stuff. So if you're listening to this, just if this podcast is successful for DC and I, if you listen to this and you thought, you know what, I got to upgrade who I'm around, whether that's who you follow on Instagram or who you sit with at work or who you talk to on a daily basis. You know what might be a good idea? This could be like, this is spring cleaning.
Oh,
This is spring cleaning.
Oh, I like this.
Okay, do your spring cleaning.
Yeah.
Listen to DC.
Check out G2's hair.
Do your spring cleaning. I wish I could do that. I
Yeah.
can't. I have no skills like that.
Yeah.
Do your spring cleaning. Upgrade the 5 people around you. Think about it. Just do a quick audit, right? Think about, go home, listen to this podcast. You're at the gym, wherever you are. Think about who are the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
And then think about that.
I have an idea.
What?
So after you leave a 6-star rating on this here episode right here in iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, what else do we have?
Everywhere.
Everywhere they can.
Google
Amazon,
Play.
Amazon, Google Play.
Amazon.
So
YouTube.
YouTube. After you leave 6-star ratings there and subscribe because G2 needs the subs, if you leave in the comments there, because I want to get a vote here.
Okay.
If we get enough people, a critical mass of people, we will do this. I will confiscate G2's cell phone, and we will do a live YouTube, and we will go through his gram followings.
Ooh, that would be.
And we're going to filter that
That's
live
a good
for the
idea.
people.
That's a good
G2,
idea.
what do you say?
That's a good idea.
Only if we get enough subs and
Yeah.
enough comments in there.
Yeah.
So if we
I
get
would
en-
need I would just need like 10 minutes to go in a different room and just unfollow some accounts, and I'd be more than happy to if you want
We're going
me.
to do a live audit so that we can teach the people how to do this. How to
You
do
want to
the
talk about how to get people to watch on YouTube the
Yeah.
live audit?
Yeah, we'll do
Come
a live
on.
spring cleaning. Yeah.
All right, we got to get
Make
out of
sure
here.
that he's on the right track.
I heard you have a
Oh, you have a
podcast.
guest coming in. I have a
You have
guest for my. I'm doing back-to-back podcasts
back
today.
to back.
All right.
I got to step out.
6-star ratings. See ya. It was
Adios.
great seeing you.
See ya.
Okay, let's vote for the spring cleaning of G2's gram followings, please.
See ya.